Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know, this corrupt gangster ANC state is so predictable. They're always on the take and they'll find any which way to do it. And what we're talking about here in this particular case is the judicial system. You know, when you go back to the days of Dingaan and Shaka, there wasn't lawyers or advocates or people who could go and stand up in court for you. There was the king, and he would decide whether you lived or died. Go and check out Shaka's Rock and see what that's all about. Now, what's happening in South Africa today is becoming like those ugly early days before the colonial people moved in and actually brought the Zulu nation out of raw tribalism and incredibly destructive culture, which was just, yeah. Look, I don't have to go through the facts. You just look at early Zulu history and see how many millions of Bantu and Nguni people were murdered. And I'm talking about the early 1800s, early 18 to mid 1800s, and you'll see for yourself what history reports. But in today's world, this new colonized world with this terrible white monopoly capitalism, which no one has actually clearly defined, because let me assure you, 99.9% of white South Africans do not live in this wonderful little white privileged world of white monopoly capitalism. Having said that, the ANC MPs, their families, their cadres, they're well connected. They live in a world of black privilege and BEE shelf companies where they make huge profits at the cost of the taxpayer. Yeah, this is the reality of South Africa today. But let's look at the judicial system. Now, I talked about when Shaka and Dingaan were in power in those days, they ruled supreme. They could make you die, or they could let you live. They had that power. In South Africa today, what used to be a fantastic judicial system has now started to erode back to the days of Dingaan and Shaka. And what I'm talking about there is there are certain members in that black privilege class, ANC members of parliament like Ace Magashula and David Mabuza, Jacob Zuma, and even Ramaphosa himself, who are so corrupt, but yet they're above the law because they are the modern day kings of this black kingdom. It's not a democracy, it's a black kingdom. That's what it is. And the black kingdom at the moment is kind of run by Cyril Ramaphosa, but there's a woman in the background, Dlamini Zuma, who's also pounding away on the drum saying, I'm actually in power. That's what this cigarette thing is all about. But we'll get back to that in another video. Let's look at the judicial system. How absolutely hocus pocus that is in South Africa. 3 serious allegations contained in the explosive affidavit by Western Cape Deputy Judge President Patricia Goliath has resulted in Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng recommending that a tribunal be held to investigate gross misconduct claims against Western Cape Judge President John Schloppy. A counter-complaint made against Goliath by Schloppy was dismissed. That little ruse didn't work too well, did it, Mr. Schloppy? These are the claims against the judge president that Mogoeng recommended be investigated. I bet you there's a whole pile more, but this is South Africa. In her complaint, Goliath charged that Schloppy had physically assaulted one of his unnamed colleagues on the bench, and that the judge wanted to proceed with a criminal complaint, but was persuaded by another not to go ahead with it. Judge Mushtaq Parker has since been identified as the other party in the alleged scuffle. He has since agreed with Schloppy's response, denying the attack. Mogoeng said the alleged assault inside Parker's chambers during working hours saw more than 10 judges depose affidavits, with 15 of Parker's colleagues saying he had, until February, consistently told the same assault story. According to an unsigned affidavit written for Parker by Judge Derek Willey, an angry Schloppy had gone to Parker's chambers on the 25th of February 2019 and accused him of wanting to screw his wife, Judge Gayat Saleh Schloppy. The judge president had, according to the document, struck Parker with his fist to the chest and caused him to fall. He ostensibly hit a book cabinet with his back, breaking the key and causing injury. Mogoeng said both Schloppy and Parker's explanations of what happened in relation to the simple matter of the alleged assault lacked clarity. Mogoeng found the JP does have a case to answer on the complaint of assault. I am satisfied that in the event of it being established that he assaulted Judge Parker, as alleged, it is likely to lead to a finding that the JP is guilty of gross misconduct. He went on to say, it is simply unthinkable that a judge-president, however angry he or she might be, would commit a crime of violence against another person, talk less of a fellow judge within an institution that exists to rid society of criminality, a court of justice. Mogoeng said it could even be worse if untruths were deliberately told by the judges involved. In the 14-page affidavit sent to the Judicial Services Commission, or JSC, 6 months ago, Goliath claimed that Schloppy chased her out of his chambers in 2017 and called her a rubbish and a piece of shit. Mogoeng said Schloppy initially sought to deny this, but left it unchallenged after reading a transcript and listening to the audio of a secretly recovered conversation with Goliath, in which he didn't deny that he abused her as alleged. He had in his latest affidavit said, if I said this, it's quite understandable that I was angry. It was a single instant in which I was deeply offended by her meddlesome actions, which caused unbelievable pain in my marriage and family. It's funny how his family always comes into the picture, isn't it? Anyway, Mogoeng said, it is not clear whether Schloppy admits or denies telling her, you are a rubbish and a piece of shit, get out of my office. He said, to have it established against someone who occupied the exalted office of Judge President that he said to a woman, DJP, that she is rubbish and a piece of shit in an era where women abuse, even at the workplace, is reportedly on the rise, is likely to result in a finding that the JP is guilty of gross misconduct, unless lip service is being paid to the fight against women abuse. We judges must lead by example in this connection. I say this alive to the fact that the JP's alleged anger might well serve as sufficient mitigation to bring the complaint down to a level of seriousness that is below gross. Goliath had reported that when Schloppy launched the Eastern Circuit Court local division in Tembalethu in George last year, a very junior judge, Tazwell Papier, was appointed to act on his behalf. This, she pointed out, was not in accordance with the Superior Court's Act. While she had been available to deputize, Papier had discharged functions such as case allocation. Goliath said Schloppy had also stopped assigning certain duties to her, his deputy. Schloppy had countered that he didn't need a deputy, that he didn't trust her, that she wanted to remove him from his position, meddles in his private life and interferes with his case allocations. He described Papier as a dependable colleague who is able to perform those functions. Mogoeng found that the Superior Court Act not only clothes the DJP with certain responsibilities in the absence of the JP, but is arguably not open to be discountenanced by the JP. He said, the position is a creature of the Constitution and statute and does not seem to exist at the pleasure of the JP. Taxpayers foot the bill to sustain the post for good reason. Mogoeng dismissed all other allegations by Goliath against Schloppy as meritless or brought to the wrong forum. So there you go. I mean, the whole judicial system in South Africa is cactus. And there are some good judges out there. And I do want to shout out to the judge who ruled in favor of the Liberty Fighters Network that the lockdown was illegal. As I said, there are some good ones out there, but sadly, an increasing number of them have their own political motivation. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.